Welcome to Wallace and Wire. Today we're talking about Muhyiddin Yassin's recent announcement, uh, pulling together a pretty significant chunk of Malaysia's opposition. Honestly, when I first heard a loose coalition, my first thought was, okay, is this a real, coordinated effort, or is it more political chess?
That's the big question, isn't it? In Malaysian politics, things shift fast.
They really do. It feels like alliances form, they dissolve. You're left wondering what the actual motivation is. You see these groups come together, but you wonder if their own agendas might pull them apart later. And this one feels different, especially with Muhyiddin himself driving it. It's fresh news, just out today.
Yeah, literally just announced.
So what do you think is the real push here? Is it really about ideology, bringing all these different parties together, or is there a bigger strategy?
Well, from what Muhyiddin, as the Perikatan National Chairman, has laid out today, it's clearly a deliberate move. He's saying 12 opposition parties have agreed.
12.
Yeah, agreed to form what he's specifically calling a loose coalition. And he stressed it's not a formally registered political alliance, more like a flexible platform.
Flexible, interesting. But the sheer number, 12 parties, that's what's striking, right? The breadth of it.
Exactly. It tells you something about the intent.
So who actually is in this group? It sounds like a really mixed bag.
It really is.
Yeah.
You've got the core Perikatan national parties, obviously. That's Bersatu, PAS, and Gerakan.
Right, the usual suspects there.
But the loose part comes from who else is involved.
Yeah.
Parties outside that usual circle. We're talking Peshawang, MUDA.
Okay, so Mahathir's party, the youth party.
Then there's MIPP, Pitre, PPP, Borjaza, PSM.
Wait, PSM, the Socialist Party.
Yes. And even Iramai, which isn't even officially registered yet, but they're on board.
Wow. Okay, that is an incredibly diverse list. You've got Malay nationalist, religious parties, youth-focused, socialists. I mean, that's quite the collection.
It is.
And Muhyiddin says the goal is to supervise the unity government, focus on issues they claim the government hasn't fixed, like reforms.
That's the stated purpose, yes.
Yeah.
Collective supervision. And this non-formal structure is key, he suggests.
But how do they even agree on what to supervise with such different viewpoints? What are the immediate things they've flagged as critical?
They've highlighted a few key areas that, let's be honest, hit close to home for most Malaysians. First, the cost of living.
Always number one, yeah.
Absolutely. Muhyiddin made a point of saying, look, the official inflation numbers might seem low, but people know prices for basic goods are way up compared to before.
You definitely feel that at the supermarket.
Right, and he linked it, partly at least, to changes in oil subsidies, which then pushes up transport costs, and that burden lands on the people.
It's that ripple effect, isn't it? It's not just the petrol price, it's everything that needs moving. It feels like this invisible squeeze on your wallet.
Precisely. And the second big issue they raised is taxes.
Okay. What
Yeah.
specifically?
They pointed directly at the sales and services tax, the SST, how it was expanded to cover almost 6,000 types of goods and services starting July 1st.
Right. That expansion was quite broad.
The coalition's argument is that this puts a huge burden on businesses. And, well, logically, businesses have to pass those costs on.
Cool. It comes back to the consumer again. Higher prices.
Exactly. It feeds back into the cost of living problem. It's like getting hit from both sides.
A double whammy. Things cost more anyway, and now more things are taxed. So beyond these economic pressures, what else is on their radar?
They're also watching the debates around the 13th Malaysia Plan happening in Parliament right now.
The National Development Plan.
Yes. Their position, according to Muhyiddin, is that the current government just hasn't effectively tackled many crucial issues within that plan. And he stressed that all the leaders in this loose setup agree on focusing on these issues. No dissent on these points, apparently.
Okay, focusing on cost of living, taxes, the 13 MP. These are definitely core concerns for people. But going back to the structure, this loose format, how do they plan to actually influence anything? If they're not a formal bloc, what's their leverage?
That's the million ringgit question, isn't it? Muhyiddin framed this as just the first step. More decisions, more strategies to come.
So, sort of feeling their way forward.
Seems like it. Their stated plan is to actively go out and engage with community groups, talk to business owners, entrepreneurs, different communities, understand the problems on the ground.
Right, get firsthand accounts.
And then, based on that, they want to propose actual solutions for the government to consider.
So less about fighting in Parliament, more about building public pressure, acting as a kind of collective voice for complaints.
That seems to be the angle. This loose format might actually be quite clever strategically.
How so?
Well, it lets them avoid the rigid structure of a formal alliance. The internal arguments, the need for total agreement on everything.
Yeah, the compromises that can dilute things.
Exactly. By keeping it loose, leaders from way more parties can join the discussion.
Yeah.
Not just the main Paracon national guys like Bersatu, PAS, Gerakan. Potentially, you could see others getting involved down the line if they share concerns on specific issues.
Like who? Dissident factions, maybe?
Potentially, yes. The structure allows for broader participation focused on specific common interests, economic, social, whatever. Muhyiddin's framing was simple. Find ways to help people solve problems.
It sounds very adaptable. Designed for broad reach on immediate issues, maybe less about deep, long-term ideological unity.
I think that's a fair assessment. It looks like a concerted effort to consolidate the opposition voice, especially on these pocketbook issues that really resonate.
Trying to show they're addressing real problems.
Right, presenting themselves as the ones listening and offering solutions. Whether this supervisory role actually changes policy or just acts as a constant thorn in the government side, well, that remains to be seen.
It definitely adds a new layer to the political game, though.
Undeniably, it forces the government to constantly be on the defensive, justifying its actions in the public eye.
It's going to be really interesting watching how this plays out. That flexibility is a strength, maybe, but keeping such a diverse group united, that's the challenge.
Huge challenge.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, what do you reckon is the ultimate goal here? Is it really just oversight, keeping the government in check? Or is there a bigger game, maybe with an eye on the next election?
I suspect it's probably both. A bit of a dual strategy.
Okay.
On the surface, yes, it's about gathering strength now, applying pressure on the government using these very real cost of living and tax concerns to win public support. That's the immediate visible part.
Makes sense.
But underneath, maybe this loose structure is also kind of test run. A blueprint for future cooperation, perhaps bigger alliances, without needing the full commitment of a formal pre-election pact right away.
So building bridges, testing the waters.
Exactly. It lets different groups work together on specific things, build some trust, maybe, and it keeps options open. If an opportunity comes up later, like closer to an election, they might already have the groundwork for a broader front.
So be a strong watchdog now.
While maybe prepping for a bigger play later,
Yeah.
it gives them flexibility. Impact now, without getting tied down too early. It's a calculated move.
What a genuinely fascinating development in Malaysian politics. This new loose coalition, wow, it really makes you think about parliamentary oversight, opposition unity, how things work here. It just shows, doesn't it, that even when things look kind of settled, politics keeps moving. New strategies, new formations, always emerging to shake things up.
Absolutely. Never a dull moment.
Only time will tell if this flexible approach can actually deliver the change they're talking about, or if, managing all those different voices will be too difficult in the end.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.